This press conference is part of the substantive way we are going to turn our words into action. With that said, I would like to emphasize that we need to be our own media. And today, right now, we have the power and the opportunity to shape the message we want to deliver. We can frame our issues the way we want. So I would encourage everyone to use every resource at their disposal: blog, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, websites, text messages. Please carry the message from today forward, and we will support you by making all this material available after the conference. First, I'd like to welcome Mr. Larry White. He is a community advocate and policymaker liaison for the Fortune Society's David Rothenberg Center for Public Policy. Prior to this position, Mr. White served as chairman of a number of inmate reform organizations during his 32 years of imprisonment. He is also a member of the policy committee of the Coalition for Fair Criminal Justice Policies. Please welcome Mr. Larry White.
Foremost, I want to make a statement. I represent a number of prisoners organizations in New York State prisons, primarily life and long-term organizations that I created when I was incarcerated. I want to first of all thank all the participants in this conference for first of all having the audacity to try to put something like this together. For years, this has been tried just about every decade. I remember the last time it was tried, and it had to do with stopping the construction of prisons in New York State. First of all, I'd like to clarify what this organization means to those on the inside. Those who are getting condemned and abandoned, have no representation at all. Alright, this group represents them. It gives them an opportunity to know that there is hope, that there are people outside who are ready to address the brutal conditions in which they are incarcerated. This coming together, first of all, represents a collaborative partnership between those organizations, groups, and agencies that are involved in the work to rectify the unjust and brutal criminal justice policies that exist in the state. Second of all, I'd like to say that this is just a start. This is just a coming together. Nothing real big and heavy is accomplished here today, other than the fact that we came together from various spectrums of the criminal justice system. Some of us at the far end, some of us at the other end, but we were able to sit here and to talk about what we have in common, the commonality. And we made an agreement. I think we touched a lot of people's hearts and a lot of people's souls here today. And I expect us to lead to bigger and better things.
Next up, we have Shoshana Brown. She is a dancer, a community organizer, and a social worker, currently working with the Bronx defenders as a client advocate. Ms. Brown has organized welfare recipients as Community Voices Heard, is a member of Paulo Freire's Education for Liberation Popular Education Training Team, and has an extensive background in student activism. Please welcome Shoshana Brown.
Good afternoon. Justice is what love looks like in public. A quote from Dr. Cornel West guides the work that I do every day, so I'd like to start off with that in mind. I grew up in the heart of the South Bronx, Forest Project to be exact. Forest Houses is located in between the 42nd and 41st precincts, also infamously known as Fort Apache, an homage to the relationship and view of the community by the police that work there. Throughout my life, I've seen family, friends, and my community plagued with over-policing and mass incarceration of my brothers and sisters. Growing up, watching people constantly get torn apart by a society infiltrated and saturated with racism, classism, and sexism has pushed me to be the person that I am today and to fight for justice, love, and public spaces. My privilege of education and positional power charges me with the task of holding our elected and criminal justice officials accountable. Overall, over 76,000 people are arrested every year in the Bronx. As a client advocate and social worker, I see so many clients come through the system because of the lack of education, resources, and support. Many have various mental health issues that relate directly to their charges. They're forced to spend time in jail and prison with inadequate resources to treat their mental health instead of receiving the more appropriate and effective help they need in the community. They're sent far away from their families, where over time, connections, energy, and relationships disintegrate. They're forced to re-enter in a community that can barely support itself, let alone someone who needs extra resources for re-entering into a society they've become estranged to. I remember my stepfather going to prison and not seeing him for over a year because my mother worked and I went to school. We never had time to travel so far away to see him. After he came back, the relationships he had with us were gone, and he was never able to piece back together the life he once had as a productive member of society, including a job. To this day, I still don't know how jail was helpful to him, nor do I think it taught him a lesson. The only thing I see is a man torn apart by a system that has always been against him, constantly in struggle to regain his life and piece himself back together without any help or resources and no one to tell him who to go to or what his rights are. For all these reasons, and with all these experiences, this conference needed to happen. I stand before you today, bearing witness and speaking truth to power. I am excited and energized by an amazing experience. This conference has blossomed into an awesome and expansive network of people and organizations. Something that has not been done before. Starting as a humble idea by a few organizers, expanded into a statewide need for unity